In healthcare, trust is everything. But what happens when friendships, favoritism, or romance start mixing into the workplace? Today, we're uncovering the fine line between connection and professionalism. This is Fraternization in Healthcare.
Hi everyone, we're Anel and Yasmin. Today we're exploring a topic that matters in every healthcare setting, fraternization.
You're absolutely right, Anel. Fraternization means personal relationships that overlap with professional roles, friendships, favoritism, or even romantic involvement at work.
Exactly. It's about professional awareness, recognizing that our connections at work can strengthen collaboration when balanced, but create challenges when boundaries blur.
We'll combine research and real examples to show why boundaries matter, how they're crossed, and what leaders and staff can do to keep relationships ethical and respectful. Let's start by defining what we mean by fraternization. The term can sound formal or even a bit intimidating, but at its core, it simply refers to the social relationships that form between colleagues. It's about the friendships and close bonds that naturally develop when people work together, share challenges, and celebrate successes. Fraternization itself isn't automatically negative. Healthy relationships at work can foster support, empathy, and smoother communication. Think about it. When you genuinely like and respect your colleagues, you're more likely to collaborate effectively, offer a helping hand without being asked, and build a resilient team that can handle the high-stress demands of a healthcare environment. This sense of community is vital.
Absolutely, Yasmin. Studies show that supportive peer relationships can boost morale and reduce burnout. In a field like ours, where emotional and physical exhaustion are constant risks, having a trusted colleague to confide in can be a lifeline. It improves job satisfaction and, by extension, retention. But the conversation gets more complex when we consider the structure of our workplaces. The key is navigating the line where a supportive friendship could cross into a conflict of interest or perceived favoritism. But when those same relationships affect objectivity or fairness, that's when issues begin.
Exactly, and that's the nuance we need to explore. The problem isn't the friendship itself, but the potential for that friendship to unintentionally create an unfair advantage or disadvantage for others on the team. And often, it's not even intentional. A simple favor, like trading shifts repeatedly with a friend, can create patterns that look biased to others. Someone might always get the holiday they want or avoid undesirable weekend shifts because their friend is in a position to approve it. Even if there's no malicious intent, the perception of unfairness is damaging. It erodes trust among the team and can make others feel undervalued and excluded.
Yes, the challenge is balancing humanity and professionalism. We are human beings, and forming connections is natural. We can't and shouldn't work in sterile, emotionless environments. However, in our roles, especially in leadership positions, we have an ethical obligation to ensure fairness and equity for every single member of our team. We all connect with colleagues, but consistency and transparency have to come first. This means having clear, well-defined policies and applying them consistently to everyone, regardless of personal relationships. When decisions are made about promotions, assignments, or scheduling, the process must be transparent and justifiable based on objective criteria, not on who you eat lunch with.
And this isn't just about team morale. It has direct implications for our primary responsibility, our patients. In healthcare, where every decision can affect patient safety, even small boundary slips can ripple through a unit. For instance, a nurse might hesitate to challenge a friend's clinical judgment, even if they have a concern. Or a manager might subconsciously overlook a friend's repeated minor errors during chart audits. These small lapses, born from a desire to protect a personal relationship, can compromise care and lead to significant adverse events. Our professional boundaries are a critical patient safety tool.
That's the crucial point. This conversation is about elevating our professional practice, not policing friendships. It's about building a culture where everyone feels psychologically safe and trusts that the system is fair. This requires self-awareness from everyone and structural support from the organization. So we're not discouraging connection, we're emphasizing awareness. Fraternization is about how relationships are managed, not that they exist. It's about understanding the potential impacts, communicating openly, and holding ourselves and our colleagues accountable to the highest standards of professionalism for the good of our team and the safety of our patients. It's one thing to talk about these challenges anecdotally, but the evidence base gives us a roadmap for creating a healthier work environment. When we look at the data, we can move from guessing what might work to implementing strategies that are proven to be effective. Let's ground this in evidence. Chory's 2023 study found that positive workplace relationships build trust only when professional limits are clearly defined. Without that structure, what feels like friendly rapport can actually introduce ambiguity. The study emphasized that boundaries aren't about being distant, they're about creating predictability and fairness, which are the true cornerstones of professional trust.
That fits what we see daily, Anil. When boundaries are understood, teams cooperate better and conflict decreases because everyone knows the rules of engagement. There's less mental energy spent trying to interpret social cues and more energy for patient care. When a charge nurse can give direct, constructive feedback without a team member taking it personally, that's a sign of healthy, well-defined professional relationships.
Exactly, but the research also highlights where things can go wrong. LaFrance's 2022 research on workplace romance showed that even small romantic relationships can reshape communication and increase tension. Uninvolved colleagues often feel like outsiders. They notice inside jokes or private conversations and start to question the impartiality of decisions. This creates an in-group and an out-group, which is toxic to a collaborative culture.
True, once personal emotions enter professional spaces, colleagues may hesitate to speak up or question decisions. That undermines collaboration. Imagine a nurse who sees her colleague, who is also her close friend, make a minor procedural error. The hesitation to correct that friend is real. In our field, that silence can have serious consequences. This is why a culture of mutual respect is more resilient than one built purely on personal rapport.
And that dynamic becomes even more complicated with a power imbalance. Hart and McLaughlin's 2024 study examined hierarchical relationships and found these often lead to perceived favoritism. Even if a manager is being completely objective, a close, friendly relationship with one subordinate will almost always be viewed with suspicion by others. The study found that peers of the favored employee reported lower job satisfaction. This perception, whether it's reality or not, damages morale.
Power differences magnify risk. What feels harmless to a manager might feel coercive to staff. A simple invitation to lunch could feel like a command performance to a subordinate. This is where clear organizational policies and leadership training are critical. Leaders need to be explicitly taught to maintain a professional distance, not to be cold, but to protect their team members and the integrity of their own decisions.
This brings us to a crucial skill, ethical sensitivity. John and Yom 2023 added that nurses with higher ethical sensitivity identify and resolve boundary issues sooner, a skill linked with lower team conflict. These are the individuals who can sense when a friendly conversation is drifting into unprofessional territory. They don't wait for a major incident. They address the small things, which prevents minor issues from escalating into major conflicts.
That's such an important point, Anil. Ethics isn't just policy, it's emotional intelligence. Recognizing when closeness becomes influence protects everyone. It's about having the self-awareness to ask, is my friendship with this person affecting my judgment, and the integrity to act on the answer. This form of intelligence is what allows a team to be both cohesive and fair.
And leaders are the key to embedding this into the culture. Luo and Song's 2024 findings were encouraging. Leaders who model clear boundaries create psychologically safer teams that communicate more openly. When a leader consistently demonstrates fairness and avoids favoritism, they create a blueprint for the rest of the team. This frees them up to voice concerns and admit mistakes without fear of reprisal.
So the research is consistent. Professionalism and personal warmth can coexist as long as structure supports fairness. It's not about creating a cold, sterile environment. It's about building a framework of transparency and equity. This means having clear policies on dual relationships and leaders being transparent about the why behind their decisions. When people understand the process and see that it's applied fairly, they are far more likely to trust the outcomes.
That's the key takeaway here, Yasmin. Boundaries don't restrict teamwork. They define the space where trust grows. They are the guardrails that keep relationships in a healthy professional zone. By establishing and maintaining them, we're not putting up walls, we're building a stronger foundation for collaboration. We're ensuring every member of the team feels respected, valued, and secure. All right, grab your popcorn for this one. We've all seen it on the floor. Two nurses start dating. They're mature, professional, and keep things private.
It's a common scenario in high-stress healthcare. Shared tough shifts build strong bonds. And at first, they're the picture of discretion. No talk on the floor, separate arrivals, professional with everyone. You didn't hear it from us, but this happens more than people admit.
For a while it works, then people notice. Shift swaps, joint breaks, little conveniences. Let's be honest, it gets awkward fast.
These aren't grand gestures, they're tiny patterns. One partner lands the lighter wing more often. The other seems first in line for prime vacation days. Maybe coincidence, until the pattern stops feeling random.
Even without intent, perception shifts. People start questioning objectivity.
Here's the critical part. Intent matters less than how it's seen. Trust is the unit's currency. And when choices look relationship-driven, that trust erodes. Floats, phrasing huddles, everything gets viewed through a biased lens.
Conflict shows up quietly, resentment, side comments, energy dips, the whisper network turns up.
It's not loud, it's corrosive. Communication tightens, volunteers vanish, and the field stops feeling level. Collaboration and patient safety take the hit.
If one partner gets promoted, fairness gets even harder to protect.
Now, it's a reporting relationship. Can performance be objective? Can growth opportunities be assigned fairly? Can feedback land cleanly? The team's trust is on the line. That's untenable.
Transparency from the start protects the couple and the team. Paperwork beats rumor mills.
In many facilities, disclosing to HR or leadership isn't punitive, it's preventive.
It lets the organization get ahead. HR reviews policy and sets boundaries. Avoid direct reporting or create an agreement to manage perceptions. It's proactive problem solving, not punishment.
Because unspoken relationships invite speculation, and speculation divides teams.
Professional honesty keeps everyone aligned. Follow policy, remove rumors, and show that fairness and integrity drive the unit. Now the friendship side. Two colleagues have years together. They trust each other completely and know each other's coffee orders.
Then one becomes charge nurse. Suddenly, scheduling and assignments live in her hands, power with a spotlight.
She doesn't mean to favor anyone, but she knows her friends' strengths and preferences, and subconsciously steers easier tasks their way. Human? Yes. Risky? Also yes.
Other staff notice. Even unintentional patterns chip away at credibility.
That's why communication and equity are essential. Use transparent systems everyone can see. Post the rotation, save the friendships.
I agree. Fairness must be visible, not assumed. We've all heard it. We're like a family here. Sweet sentiment, tricky reality.
It sounds warm, but it can backfire. Families forgive. Organizations must ensure accountability.
When rules bend for comfort or friendship, boundaries fade. Behaviors get excused that wouldn't fly elsewhere.
That's when professionalism erodes. Teams can be friendly. Fairness still leads.
I agree with you. Respect before rapport.
So how do we maintain healthy relationships at work?
Number 1, disclose early. If a friendship or relationship could affect fairness, be transparent.
Number 2, follow organizational policy. Policies protect consistency and shield employees from bias accusations.
Number 3, separate professional and personal communication. Keep work discussions in professional channels.
Number 4, rotate opportunities fairly. Precepting, training, and scheduling should circulate among staff.
Number 5, model professionalism. Leaders who maintain boundaries set the tone for everyone else.
And finally, speak up early if boundaries blur. Addressing concerns respectfully prevents escalation.
In short, clarity protects culture.
Perfectly said, Yasmin.
Think about your own team. Have you ever noticed relationships that shifted the group dynamic?
We all have, Yasmin. The key is recognizing patterns without judgment and choosing professionalism every time.
Reflection strengthens leadership. Awareness is part of accountability.
Fraternization in healthcare isn't about avoiding relationships. It's about managing them responsibly.
That's the bottom line. Clear boundaries, support fairness, teamwork, and ultimately, patient safety.
We're Anel and Yasmin. Thank you for joining us.
And remember, professionalism doesn't limit connection. It protects it.
Before we wrap up, let's switch gears with a quick Kahoot review.
It's a fun way to test what we've learned about fraternization, teamwork, and professional boundaries.
Let's dive in and see what everyone remembers.